Well, good afternoon, cannabis fans. Welcome to the show. I'm Marijuana Man. This is From Under the Influence. I don't know. Home show number 1,300,000. Coming to you from Vancouver, where it's reasonably warm. Not like winter at all. I want to thank Anil, who's in the house too, for setting this all up and zooming it all together. Can't do it without you. So, yeah, welcome to the show. Here we are, January batshit crazy. The world never ceases to entertain. That's for sure. Yeah, they're going nuts in the U.S. today. It's bizarre. As a Canadian, it's easy to sit back and judge from a distance, having nothing to do with the outcome whatsoever. But I don't know. For me, it was like watching 9/11 all over again. On one hand, you're going, holy fuck. And on the other hand, you go, fucking right. America, we have a different view, I suppose, than Americans do, and rightfully so, but I don't know. It's all about this fucking patriotism bullshit on both sides of the fence, it looks like to me. We don't agree with Trump or like him. Well, I don't anyway. So we've also decided that anybody who stands up with him, we don't like them either. And they shouldn't do what they're doing. So, I don't know, it's with a certain amount of glee on one hand. I don't know what to think of it all because we've decided that these are people we don't like. They're still allowed and easily took over the fucking Senate or whatever they did. The whole damn place. But, which is interesting, certainly no other color of skin would be allowed to do that so easily. Seemed like a lot of white people to me. I wasn't there and didn't see everything, of course, but yeah, fucking weird. And on the other hand, they were kind of fulfilling one of the amendments of their constitution by rising up against the government. This is why they have the right to bear arms, and so they can do this and successfully shut down the Senate and whatever else they shut down at the time they shut it down. So, but we don't like those people doing it. Who the fuck is supposed to do it then? Who's going to do it? They would shoot every other group of people, shoot them down in the streets. So, yeah, it's interesting. Who knows? Nobody fucking knows what's going on. Everybody's blathering about it all out there, making decisions. Oh, I like this. Oh, I don't like that. So, the Proud Boys lost, I guess, today. All proud now. Is your mom proud? But, once again, they, oddly enough, are executing a portion of their constitution, which they all stand to uphold no matter what on both sides of the aisle. I only watched it, what I saw on CNN. So they have a point of view. It's appalling. I can't watch this anymore. So I don't know. We'll see what the fallout of all this is. It's going to be fucking armed security. But I don't know, Biden out there yakking about calming down and getting out and how Trump should be addressing this and he's not. And, but just going on and on about how great America is and how we need to return to that. Oh, the killing of all the rest of the people on the planet. So, I don't know. At one point when I looked at it too, I thought, well, this is America. This is what it's become. A TV show in the rest of the world. The best reality TV show going. But how much of it is a show, I don't know. How orchestrated that can be. I think they're too stupid to figure that all out in advance. It's one thing to encourage people to have a rally and accumulate at a certain place. Pretty tough to figure what the outcome of that's going to be. To orchestrate it any further. So, fairly unprotected place. Another thing that was unprotected was the White House. That would have been a good time to us Canadians to go down there and burn it down for the third time. We could have all had COVID tests and gotten across the border and snuck down to Washington. Yeah, you'd think, I don't know, if these are people who would be represented all on the right, I guess. You'd think the people on the left could have figured out that that'd be a really good time to go to the White House because no one's there protecting it. Or the cops are being used. So, never a fucking dull moment. Didn't see anybody smoking a joint. Not that crazy. You don't want to get hurt. But they should have been. What I saw were a lot of Karens and white Americans. I didn't see any black people or people of color smashing into the fucking Senate windows to take it over and overturn the election. If that's what they're up to. So, a little world news. But you just never know. That's the thing. You just never know. So, I try to operate from that perspective. You just never know. I don't know. Leaves room in your head for stuff, other things, better things, than deciding on what's right and wrong around the fucking planet without knowing shit about it. Well, there's somebody said they've been watching since the Cannabis days. Fuck, that was a long time ago. Wasn't it? Yes, I've done the show from a tremendous number of locations here and around the world. It's been a blast. We were one of the first people doing it, so I don't know. I guess just in my desire to do a show, I exposed a lot of cannabis world to the world. That was a long time ago, in the early 2000s, I guess. But I kind of introduced all the seed breeders to the world. I don't believe they had done any video that was being presented anywhere. So I was just happy to meet these people and talk to them. Tony from Sagarmatha Seeds was way fun. They were all nice people. Liked to smoke weed, most of them. And we did. One time I was invited by Alan Dronkers, who lived at what was known the Cannabis Castle out in Nijmegen or some fucking other town. Took the train. Huh? Really? Well, happy 420, everyone. Oh, yeah, well, he picked me up and we drove out to his house, which is in the country. And you could actually see the high pressure sodium light blaring out of the basement window. It was in the evening, so you could see the light pretty well. And you could walk right over to the window and look in and look into a flower room with nobody cared. So yeah, I don't know. The Dutch have a way of doing things that's different and seemingly more civilized and fair. I, of course, don't know the extent of it all. I had a friend one time who moved to Amsterdam, and when I went there and visited with her, she said, you know, I've gone to the trouble of learning Dutch and found out they've got nothing to say. So there's a different perspective. No, but I feel very fortunate to have visited the Cannabis Castle. That's where Neville, the godfather of seed breeding, marijuana seed breeding, that's where he lived when he did that, and was featured in High Times in that house. So I was quite honored to be there in that spirit. He was still alive then, but somebody asked if I'm going to write a memoir. I can't remember. You need Mark in the room. Mark, when did this happen? Mark, when did this happen? He knows everything, every date, every thing. He was our internet before we had such a thing, because he did know everything. Hey, who published this music? Hey, who wrote this song? Yes, as far as I know. I haven't heard much about it recently, but I would like to think so. Oh yeah, we had many of an adventure having to do with cannabis. Only, pretty much. Oh, after all that. So yeah, it it has been good fun. We went to Australia one time, a couple times actually. Mark said, "Hey, Greg, I want you to go to Australia and try their weed." I said, "Okay." We had a magical trip. We couldn't take seeds, but we wanted to let people know that we would sell them to them and ship to Australia. And for that weekend of the Nimbin Mardi Gras, we offered to make sure that they would be in the mail the next day. That was our offer to everyone. So I set up a table and displayed magazines and seed catalogs and gathered quite a large crowd of people because no one had ever done that before. And it was going along pretty well, but then the crowd started to turn on me a little bit. They said, "So you expect us to believe that if we give you money and you go away and we will get seeds?" And so they started murmuring a little bit, and I was getting a tad nervous. And then through the back of the crowd, a guy came rushing through the crowd, pushing his way through. And you couldn't tell if he was happy or sad or what was going on, but I said, so what? He had a brown paper bag. And I said, yeah, so what's that? And he threw it down on the table. And he said, Mark Emery Outdoor Mix. He said, I ordered it and got him within X number of days, and best weed I've ever grown. And open up this bag, and there was a stack of buds that he had grown from those very seeds. And needless to say, we sold a lot of seeds. But yeah, that happened more than once in Australia. I would say people presenting buds that they had bought seeds from us and had grown right over there. So that was way fun to be that far away from home and to know that people were being affected like this that far away. So, yeah, putting the seeds out was really the key to it all. Mark was right. He was absolutely right on the money. He went to Amsterdam, those many years ago, and was introduced to how much money they were able to make from selling seeds. So he vowed to come back and make a lot of money so that he could finance our anti-prohibition movement. And it worked beautifully. till the end, of course, but no, it was the right thing to do, and it paid for a tremendous amount of things having to do with legalizing and unstigmatizing cannabis. So yeah, lots of fun. Memoirs, maybe one day. Well, I was being distracted by the chat. I have no idea what they're talking about. They get into a different conversation. But I don't know. What does that all mean for cannabis? Oh no, nothing. They would have killed that person a long time ago, beaten him half to death and dragged him off through marijuana bullshit. No, it still goes on, right? Place in, I don't know even where it was, in Toronto, maybe. There's a group have organized to stop the opening of a legal cannabis store right next door to, because they were a mosque. They are a mosque. And you go, well, so what? And their concerns were all about the youth. Once again, the the mosque attracts many youth, looking for direction and blah, 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 blah. And that's why it should not be there. Even though it is a place where the youth are not allowed to go. They cannot go in there. So, what's your issue? The youth are protected by that rule. So, what? So, what you're essentially saying then is that the proprietors would not be honest enough to adhere to that rule. I guess your concern is. So what? Too. So it's a mosque, but it's still all about the youth. So it's fucking nuts that people have gathered so many signatures. There's no chance these people are going to get to open there. But for no apparent reason other than they don't like it. They don't like cannabis. So fuck you. That's what I say. Can you say that on YouTube? Like, so what? I don't care about your religion or what you believe in. What difference does that make? It's not more important than cannabis stores going to attract a lot of youth too. And they won't get in either. And then some other nut, he wrote a big letter to somebody, the city, over a proposed cannabis store inside of a park, Woodbine Park, some fucking thing in Toronto. But amongst other stores allowed to be there. And part of his reasoning for not wanting it, it would be beside a Tim Hortons where youth go. So, yeah, we get it. You don't want the youth to have it. So, don't make that completely our fault. So, I don't know. One letter of complaint. But it just droned on and on and on with the reasoning behind this, how horrible this would be, with not one instance of just like that. Nothing's ever happened around these establishments to warrant this kind of worry about it. Even though kids go to Tim Hortons, maybe we should tell them not to. Don't go here because it's not very good for you. It's not good food. But you're not going to do that. So, fuck this bullshit about protecting kids and not allowing adults convenience or choice or anything because you don't think you want that. Like, what difference is it going to make to you? To anyone. Except more people will come to that little place and go to Tim Hortons for sure. and booster juice. So silly, still very silly. And they're going to continue on this path of most resistance, I would have to say. See, now Health Canada has their little questionnaire, which I haven't bothered to make my wishes known. I don't trust them. They've already got it figured out the way they're going to do it. They're just going to look and pick the responses they want. See, a lot of people were thinking we need more rules. That's what they're going to do. What else will what they do? That's what they do, is make rules. So they're just going to make new rules based on silly shit they heard someone say. So, I don't know. I participated in their questionnaire during their task force. A very leading questionnaire, leading you to harm and enforcement and reduction and blah, 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 restriction, continually reinforcing the idea that it's a health issue, which gives them apparently a wide range of dealing with it. But we're in the throes of seeing how that can go. A health issue. That's all you gotta say. So, what? Aurora leaked a bunch of information. So, who cares really? Huh? People who work there. I don't know. I didn't read much of this story, but I don't know. They're just big, giant conglomerates now that can't keep the handle on nothing. Running out of money, perhaps. Prospects are getting slimmer. But when you Google cannabis now, it's really news of the legal world and stock market stuff still. I guess the former CEO of something, Terry Booth is his name. He was CEO of one of the big LPs here, then probably took a lot of money and left. And then now he's gone to the States. And he's going to be the CEO of one of those companies. I don't get it. So, That's what they're going to do from now on. Or the next round is just going to be these guys dancing to the next potential. And that's the U.S. Georgia is taking over the fucking, I don't know. Didn't they win Congress or something too? But stocks were buoyed by this announcement because potentially they're going to legalize marijuana. And so our stocks are worth more than right now because of this potential. So, fucking guys, this is all they have as potential. It's all they've ever had. Haven't lived up to any of it so far in Canada. These investors, they don't look at your past performance. Well, nobody cares about less than spectacular weed. No, they don't look, I guess. Go, okay, well, our stock is worth, who decides that your stock is worth this much? I don't get it. I don't play the stock market, so I don't really understand, but somebody gotta lose. And the people with the most invested ain't gonna be losing. How that works. So, yeah, I don't know. It's all potential. They don't have any pot. They don't put the pot in their potential. Ever. So, ain't nothing in it for me. How does my paper get way over there? There's been a tremendous number of good hybrids developed over the years. Thanks in large part to our desire to have cannabis. It's still, I don't know. I've said this probably too many times, but it's a marvel to me that we have created this industry underneath the prohibition that we face. We have full-blown anything goes fucking industry going on. Magazines and music and eventually TV and wow, being pursued by the police as a federal offense. It's weird, don't you think? You don't see that going on with too much else. Small stuff, maybe, but I don't know. It's weird. But we did. And that was due mostly by our love of cannabis, our desire to have it, our desire for our friends to have it, and anyone who wanted it. That's all we were doing. So yeah, eventually I would like to see this come around to, I don't know, the understanding that stuff went on before it was legal. And if you will, at least how that affects the product that we're being offered. Like, shouldn't that matter? Nobody writes about that. So I saw a headline too that, you know, as I predicted, the Health Canada is now saying that too many people are growing way too much marijuana. It's out of control. So you watch, they'll be reeling that in any time now after they get their quiz back. They'll do that. What was in the quiz? So, I don't know where they're trying to head with all that. I think what they're going to attempt to do is maybe get rid of designated growers or severely limit your abilities to produce your own and in the quantities that people have been. I got a feeling. So, you can bet that the feds have been grinding over the cases that we, for medical users, won in the courts. They've been pouring over trying to figure out how to get around that decision. Because that's what they do for us. They just figure out ways to fuck us. To not go along with what anyone says. We want to do it this way. So like I say, I don't trust Health Canada or their decisions around cannabis so far. And from their point of view, it said very early on in this latest endeavor to gather info that it's a health issue. They made very clear that they come at it from a health perspective. And like I say, they only do that because it gives them carte blanche to do whatever the fuck they want. Because it's a health issue. When that's even so broadly worded, you go, you're not even saying good health or bad health. It's just a health issue. And it just turns out to be the redistribution of wealth, the reallocation of funds. So, I don't know. They spend a lot of time figuring that out too, how to do that. How can we get as much money out of this as is humanly possible? So, I don't know. I'd like to swing the conversation in the world around to, hey, what about us consumers? What's in it for us? Do you care? You care about all the money, but you don't care about the people who are essentially going to give it to you. Interesting. So, until they do that, we'll see. Now, it's been painfully slow, the rollout of anything here in British Columbia. Like, I don't know. Like they didn't want to get into the heritage of British Columbia's reputation in cannabis in Canada. So I think that's why they ignored it. They didn't want to acknowledge what had gone on before. So it's terrible here. I don't keep track of such things, but painfully slow rollout of stores to even try. So we'll have to see what happens. You don't know what's going to happen any day. So I don't know. Did I mention I don't know? So yeah, I don't know. For some reason, humans are prone to be on to the next newest thing, the next hybrid, the more spectacular one than the last. Which is probably not true. Probably not more spectacular than the last, but different. They've all been different, but they've been close. They're all pretty close. I don't know. For me, I like the flavors. Whether or not indica, sativa, you keep mixing them, you can't go wrong. Oh, I should have smoked a sativa. Okay, I will. So yeah, I don't know. It's different for a lot of us who consume fairly regularly. It doesn't have that tremendous amount of effect on me, but people who don't just use it occasionally or at a certain time of night or whatever they do with it, they expect a certain result. What's that? Well, it's always going to work. Doesn't matter what it is, really. I wouldn't think so, but they may well feel the difference given the stone that they get or how they feel or whatever. But I don't. Doesn't matter. Just consume cannabis. That's just part of being alive. So it's different for me. I don't. I'm not too sure if I notice, unless I know and it's a good full sativa. I notice a difference. Much of the rest of it I don't, but I'm not prone to keep track of it either as to what it is. Chosen it for the flavor and aroma. It would taste good with this one. If these two taste good, then I've created my own hybrid out of those two. So, I don't know where it's all headed. We're ripping it apart as hard as we can to find stuff so we can say we found this. But what it means to me, I don't know. Did we invent new terpenes? Or have they always existed in cannabis? Where did they come from? If that's what it's all about, or it's important, then where do they come from? Huh? Why does this one have this much of this one? Like I care, I know, consuming it, shut up, go away. The idea would be to have good weed to consume. That's all I need. Oh, it's got that lemonine. I like that. Yeah, it's got a lemon flavor. Huh. And in my humble opinion, the sativas have more of a citrus note to them a lot of times. So, like that. So, yeah, but I don't care necessarily. But the constant hybridization of stuff just drives the market. Everybody thinks that the next one is going to be the one, I guess, or something. But it's just different. taste different? Oh, okay. Probably give you about the same effect, no matter what is said. So, and that's cool. And that's what it's turned into. But it all started somewhere. Probably started with skunk number 1, I think. It seems to have blossomed into the strain that has spawned the most. That many of the flavors were found in skunk number 1 to branch off with. Cross it with an indica and away you'd go. Nobody would cross it with a haze and away you'd go. The sativas fell out of favor very quickly. Not so much out of favor, but that night in Amsterdam or in Holland at Alan's house, he went into that grow room in the basement. We looked at that too. And we got some Jack Herrera that was grown there for me to smoke. So I was really thrilled by that. Get some fucking real Jack Herrera out of the the guy from Sensi Seeds. So unfortunately though, overfed and could not keep it lit. Lit it like 1,000,000 times. He didn't smoke that himself. He smoked some Mexican with more tobacco. Mostly tobacco. Well, so let's roll one more joint anyway. So what? Happy New Year, I guess. Did that happen? Since the last show? I don't know anymore. No, not too sure where we're headed with everything, with the pandemic. They keep locking stuff down, don't they? But we'll have to see. They shut down alcohol sales here in British Columbia New Year's Eve at 8 o'clock. Was it? 8 o'clock. Last time you could buy booze in the restaurant at 8 o'clock. Now, with no consultation with the restaurant industry whatsoever, as it turned out. Didn't let them know they were going to do that. So, until what, 9 o'clock the next morning, you couldn't sell any booze. I'm not too sure what difference it made or could possibly. If you knew this days ahead, you'd stock up on booze so hard. And the last round at the restaurant is going to be fairly large. I would think. So I don't know what the fuck's going on with all this stuff either. I wish I did, but well, maybe I don't wish I did. Careful what you wish for. You know, that's the reason. Huh. I'm powerless to do anything about that reason. So, what the fuck? I don't like rules too much, stupid rules. So, we see people too. Didn't see many masks at the terrorist uprising in Washington. No, they went from calling them protesters to rioters to terrorists, I think. Might have been one more in between. But Wolf Blitzer just, no, we should call them what they are. They're terrorists. So, yeah, I wonder what the rules are around attacking your government and shutting them down. Is there some rules around that? Oh, no, you didn't do that right. So, should be interesting in the days ahead. But I'm glad you joined in today. Thrilled when you do, and happy to be here to do it. Thanks to Anil again for putting this all together. And you all for joining in the chatter. And until we meet again, I hope you have good cannabis around you at all times and are enjoying the health benefits of it all. And until we meet again, I'm Marijuana Man. Peace. And bye.